shopgear.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
So, Fat Man,
So Sleazy.
what happens when you have a brand new live podcast here at WNY POD CON?
We do what we want.
Of course we do what we want. Let's talk about that and more on The Wrestling Show. Welcome, everyone. This is Sleazy.
This is the Fat Man.
And welcome, everyone, to another wonderful episode. Blue Smock Nancy, they're awesome. They let us use that wonderful song, Unsettling Differences. You can find them on iTunes and Spotify. Fat Man,
Sleazy.
we are live. I can't believe this.
We are live.
How did we manage this?
We sucked a lot of dick.
Of course we did. Good news is we're going to be sucking a lot more than that today. Let's get right into the show. We've got a couple mini issues here that we need to get off our chest. Number one, unions. We're going to start off the hard way.
Like the union from 1999 with like Mick Foley and Tess and Big Show and stuff like that.
I've actually forgotten about that. How terrible is that? Yeah, let's talk about unions. So what brought this up? So David Starr is a bit of a... There's no other way to put it. He's a dickhead. But he brings up a lot of good points, usually. One of the big ones is that he brought up the concept of wrestlers' union. Now, me personally, I am actually in part of a union. I am actually, I'm a big wig in a union. So, obviously, I'm for unions everywhere. I don't know if you are.
My dad's going to hate me.
Uh-oh.
I'm for unions, but I just don't think a wrestling union would work.
Why don't you think it would work, though?
Economically, I don't think it will work.
So, to put this in a little bit more of a capsule, what unions are basically is a group of people that pay into like a little fund, and from there they get a bunch of different benefits. Benefits being, health care, rates being lower, more quality places to work, higher pay as a general rule. Just in general, being able to say, hey, this is a union shop, this is a positive place to work, and go from there. Now, union benefits are, very vast and varied depending on what type of work you're doing. One of the big things that everyone talks about is healthcare in professional wrestling. It's basically non-existent. Even at the highest level of WWE, it's not there. They have a doctor, they do what they do, and then that's about it. So my big question about all of it is, why isn't it a good idea?
Why isn't it?
Yeah, why isn't it a good idea?
It's a great idea.
I think it is too.
It won't work.
Why don't you think it will work, other than the fact that it's...
Because, like you said, higher rate of pay. If someone comes in, an independent wrestling promotion, and say 100 people show up and they want higher rate of pay, will they be able to pay them?
But that's not the point of the union, though. The point of the union more is to make sure that the carny assholes of professional wrestling don't get to keep being carny assholes.
Okay, fine. Again,
that's the number
just because
one
you
problem.
draw 100 people doesn't mean you're a carny asshole.
That is also true.
I'm just saying, if they have 100 people and they could lose money on the show, essentially.
Yeah, but they couldn't lose money on the show beforehand.
So?
The union has no bearing on that. The union is only simply there to make sure that when that promoter draws 100 people and goes to the wrestler and says, the pay's a little light.
Union's like, we don't care, pay me.
Maybe next time.
We don't care, pay me?
Or none of our workers are going to use your show anymore. That's the thing.
And then there's another downfall on it is because you now lose a place where people can get experience in front of a live crowd.
Just because they don't have union workers doesn't mean that they can't work there. They just won't be a union affiliated place.
Okay.
That's
then what's the point of it?
The point of it is to make sure that there's a bunch of different little pieces, like, for instance, promotion. We've talked about promotion before. It's usually left to the wrestlers themselves to promote a show that they're on. With the unions, people talk about Philip Stamper a lot. Philip Stamper, every week, to his credit, it's amazing, this list, gets a list of every single promotion that's running that particular weekend, and he emails it to you, and he goes to Facebook as well. And this is a great resource that only he does. And that's the kind of stuff that a union should be doing.
Cool.
You say cool, but that's a really big thing about professional wrestling.
It is, but I don't see the point of it. Like, I'm for a union. I just don't think... Maybe I'm just not understanding unions, I guess. But I just don't think that a wrestling union will work on an independent level.
It would be a hard thing to actually navigate. I will agree with that. Nothing's going to be easy in this particular circumstance, especially when you talk about the fact that wrestling promoters will actively shun it. Oh, you're a union guy? Get the fuck off my show.
Not only that, but also you got wrestling promoters who will also pay people in pizza and water. So how are you going to...
Hey, it's a hot dog and a handshake, man. Here's your handshake.
Hot dog and a handshake?
Hot dog and a handshake.
Is that how I got my neck broken, with a handshake?
Yes, with a handshake.
Okay.
So here's the thing, though. In the grand reality of it, you have to sit here and say there needs to be protection.
And I think the only thing you brought up that I actually agree with is it will get rid of the carny-ass promoters.
That's the only reason why there should be.
Okay, then that's fine. And I said I'm for unions, but if you need to pay them health care, which the wrestlers themselves got to buy into, will they be able to make enough money in order to do that and to pay the union dues that they got to pay and to feed their families?
No, because here's the reality of it. There's not enough money in professional wrestling right now.
And that's my point. Economically, it will not work.
I think it will work in a very small, muted scale. And that's why I was saying beforehand. You have to sit there and start from a very small piece and say, okay, these little benefits for free. You get access to the mailing list. You get access to potentially better health care. There's all sorts of different little benefits that you can get out of this. From a promoter standpoint, hey, cool. Now you're part of this union system. We're going to promote your show, even if it's not just in, like I said before, in Texas. We're coming from New York. We want to see a show in Texas. Well, where are the shows? Well, if you go to the union site, oh, look, there's the list of all the shows in Texas.
So essentially what you're saying is it's going to be an NWA with benefits.
I mean, yes.
So now, granted, I understand that you don't got to be a part of the union, but now you got to get together with these wrestling promoters and go, hey, will you be a part of this union?
Well, they don't have to be.
Said, they don't have to be.
Right.
But once you said most of them will go, fuck you, I'm not doing that.
Yes,
so,
and that's where you have to show the benefits of being a part of the union, and that's part of the problem that they're having currently in other walks of life. Currently there was a Supreme Court case recently in the last year where public employees were forced into unions, and the Supreme Court case Janus versus the Board of Education basically said, well, no, now they don't have to anymore, and now there's this huge controversy around it because of the fact that now people are dropping out of unions but still getting the same benefits of having a union. It's a big problem right now. And from a wrestling standpoint, you have to make sure that, we need to show the benefits of this. And that's what they're having the problem doing right now in other walks of life. And that needs to transfer over into professional wrestling as well.
Yeah, and again, I'm for a union. I want there to be health care. I want these wrestlers to be treated greatly better, but it just on the independent level won't work. And I've talked about WWE. Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. Talking about a union in WWE is like saying, well, obviously they should have a union. I mean, they don't get anything when it comes to benefits, when it comes to... the Z-Pack, the whole Z-Pack situation. The reality is that you have to give these guys health care. You have to give these guys benefits. You got to give these guys time off. What's it tell you that a vacation for a professional wrestler is I tore my ACL? It really is. It's a problem. And a union in WWE is a no-brainer. It absolutely should be that.
Now, another problem with the union is, say that you go to a show, not just a WWE, just a random independent show, and you go to a show and you go, hey, I don't like my pay. We're striking, all of us, that day of the show with fans are already there, already paid.
I would say that would be such a black eye to a union that it would pretty much kill.
And you know it will happen.
I think that...
You know it will happen.
I think it will happen, but it won't be endorsed by the union, because and that's a problem with any type of union where you have to be truly organized and say, "Hey, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it." The Terrys of the world,
why'd you bring him up?
Because he's the perfect reason why we need unions in this.
Right.
Terry Cadillac.
Terry.
Ultimate Wrestling's Terry Cadillac.
Yeah, Ultimate Wrestling's Terry Cadillac, the guy that broke my neck and I still got numb arms today for.
Yes.
So
you could say that again. The reality of, carny-ass promoters, and don't get me wrong, New York State, unfortunately, does have a few of them, but they're all over the place. So, I mean, that's what the union's really there to be the buffer between the carny-ass promoters and the guys that feel like, we need to make sure that the workers are actually taken care of.
Okay, no, I get that, but what if you go to, say, like a Johnny Musa and Excite, who pays his guys well, who's a great promoter, and you just the wrestlers go, I'm striking. He's nothing to do with being a carny-ass promoter. It's just the wrestlers just want more money. Just cuz.
I would say that wouldn't happen because the reason why they would go on strike is because of carny-ass shit.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Not because I didn't get my $20 and my cheese and pepperoni plan.
Pepperoni's more.
Yeah,
you got to take bumps on thumbtacks for pepperoni.
Oh man, yeah. It's just the reality of the business. You're only going to get paid so much because that's what you're doing. That's who you are. Sometimes you get paid more because you draw more, but that's not what the union's for specifically.
Okay. So that does make sense, but I still feel like there will be examples of people doing that just because people are they're pieces of shit.
Yeah. So I mean, there are just as many carny workers as there are
carny promoters. Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's been the other problem with unions, is that there's always been this sense of you're only in the union because you're a fuck up. You're just trying to keep your job, not because you're trying to benefit it. And that's a big problem with just the optics of unions and stuff like that. But that's a whole nother situation. Let's kind of shelve this for now. We'll talk about this more on a later episode, because I'm sure I'm going to get on some sort of rift with David Starr again, and it'll
classic wrestling show, go on tangents.
Yes, as usual. So we got a bunch of news and rumors for tonight.
Not as much as last show.
Yeah, you and your 15 pages of hell.
Went through a whole notebook.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, so we got to start with what happened on Thursday with the passing of Harley Race.
Okay, yeah. So anyone who doesn't believe Harley Race is a legend in this business can get the fuck out. Seriously. Harley Race unfortunately passed away at the age of 76 on Thursday. To say that he was one of the best wrestlers in the history of professional wrestling is just, it makes me so sad. It really does. It really, there's a lot of guys in this business that I really truly look up to, and Harley Race is one of those guys.
Legit one of the toughest people in wrestling, which when I met him last year in New Orleans, which Chip thought Dallas?
Yeah, whatever.
Because he's a mark.
Because he's a mark. He is always a mark.
But, very brief, didn't say much. He was in poor health then, but couldn't have been nicer. He put a lot of people over. Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair. Even Ric Flair has said, he went to Starrcade and it was a snowstorm or something, and Harley Race pulled him over. And everyone's like, uh-oh, something's going to go down. And Harley Race goes, I believe in you. I'm here for you, kid. So that's a huge endorsement from Harley Race to Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And,
But he never became anything,
Ric Flair?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think anyone's ever heard of him.
He's a nobody.
No.
So, I mean, to say that we lost, it's basically an end of an era, in my opinion. And we've already talked a lot about on the Facebook page about Harley Race. So,
yep.
Okay.
Your boy, Paul Heyman.
Oh, my boy.
He is removing Vince's rule of no wrestling during commercial breaks. Thank God.
That was stupid.
I was sick of 2 out of 3 falls matches just to have 2 out of 3 falls matches.
The worst part about that is that they were, for a while there, they were like NXT's like major killer
By the
gimmick.
way,
So, I mean,
there's another one in NXT Toronto. 2 out of 3 falls match.
Yeah.
Gargano and Cole.
yeah, but that...
It's Gargano and Cole, so...
Of course, so... Indy Smark win!
Hooray. Oh, you love this. AEW.
Oh, God.
We talk about
What did
bots.
Meltzer suck?
Oh, by the way, we haven't said of this show. Fuck Dave Meltzer. AEW sells out tickets to their first show in October. Here you go, Sleazy.
5 minutes? 4 minutes? 2 minutes? 2 minutes. What did they say?
It was like 10 minutes, apparently.
Oh, good for them. 10 minutes.
I was hoping for you to say the one word you said the last show.
Mark?
No. Bots.
Oh, yeah, the bots. Yes. They bought it out in 10 minutes. Congratulations to AEW and their bots.
Apparently there's going to be like maybe 1,000 more. Oh, pencil drop. Classic Sleazy and the Fat Man.
Oh, great.
I don't know where it went, but fuck it.
Who cares?
Oh, look, a pen. I dropped that too. Apparently, it'll be after they finalize their production set, maybe 1,000 seats will open up.
I mean, I'm glad for them.
Oh, Mark's going, by the way.
Good for him. I mean, he's Baltimore, Maryland, DC area, so that's pretty cool. I think my problem with the whole, oh my God, it's a TV taping that they sold out. Okay, that's one of many weeks of TV taping. It shouldn't be as big of a deal as they're making it, I don't think.
Because
Dave Meltzer likes to suck
AEW's
dick.
Yeah.
It's like he transferred his dick-sucking abilities from New Japan to AEW.
That's because now you have the Young Bucks and Omega and Cody are now in AEW.
Maybe it's just he liked to suck off Generation Me.
Who?
Generation Me.
Who?
Matt and Nick Jackson.
Who?
The Young Bucks.
Who? Oh. WWE to enforce the brand split even more seriously when they moved to Fox.
What the fuck happened to the wild card rule?
It sucks.
Well, I'm not saying it doesn't suck, but that was the entire point of doing the wild card was to get the cross promotion in, so you could say, "Oh, look, Seth Rollins is on both USA and Fox."
Then why do the brand split? Because like a week later, oh, wild card.
Yeah, because we really needed to see the Iconics on both shows.
I need to see Peyton Royce.
Okay, well, that's for a different reason, though. See, we're getting claps over here from Peyton Royce. We're getting Peyton Royce over. Jesus Christ.
WWE canceled all 3 SmackDown house shows this weekend. Tonight in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Tomorrow in Dansville, Illinois. And then Monday in Kalamazoo, Michigan. The reason? Scheduling conflicts. Lack of ticket sales will be a big part of that, too.
Why, though? I mean, that's a lot of shows to cancel on a weekend. That's not like WWE, because most of the time they just run the show anyway, like 3/4 empty.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. The house show attendance is basically a money grab to begin with, because they're really not doing anything in terms of production. They're really not doing anything in terms of, obviously the talent's going to be there, and the talent make extra money by working house shows. But it's just like, why not just do the fucking show? Pull in lower end talent. Obviously, you got card subject to change, as they all like to say. You know, you pull off your big guys, you run them other places, and you call it a day. I don't know why. How bad are those ticket sales where they're not even thinking about running it?
Probably pretty bad.
That's pretty inconsiderate of them. Because let's be honest, if I have a ticket for that show, one of maybe 4. I
mean, you'll get refunded for it, but
well, yeah, but I mean, I decided not to come to the WNY Pod Con because I was going to Kalamazoo, Michigan to watch a WWE house show, or something like that. It's a dick move to cancel it that soon, I guess.
Right. WWE is hesitant about running another women's-only pay-per-view because they think it will bomb without Ronda Rousey on it.
I'm always torn about this thought process that Ronda Rousey is the single draw of women's wrestling in WWE.
Torn?
Right now.
You shouldn't be torn. She's not.
I don't want to say I disagree, but I can't agree either. She is a big draw. There's absolutely no doubt about that. I think that you have to reconcile the fact that the women are not booked as top stars as much as the guys, with the exception of over maybe the last year. And having Ronda Rousey in the main event of WrestleMania, having Becky Lynch be this huge fucking star, and then kind of lost her way almost again. She's part of it being the obvious fucking mixed tag horse shit that's going on. Oh, we now know that there's a relationship. We got to exploit the shit out of that. There's all sorts of different views about women's wrestling out there.
I'm waiting for it.
What?
You know what I'm waiting for.
Asuka's not going to be part of it. Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, well, that's the reality of it. The problem is that when you have so many women's wrestlers out there that are great workers, they're great on the mic, they're great with what they do in the ring, and then you don't give them a spotlight, surprise, surprise, the women's only pay-per-view is not going to get over. Shock of shocks.
What happened to the women's tag team championships again?
There's a women's tag team championship?
So Sasha Banks was right.
Sasha Banks was right. That's the problem.
WWE and Netflix announced a live-action family comedy series.
Series? I thought it was a movie.
No, series called The Big Show Show.
What? What in the hell are they doing? They're trying to print money.
And they're doing it well. And that's why WWE will never die. Just because our wrestling sucks don't mean every other ass. They just got $2 billion. They'll be okay.
I think they'll be fine.
They'll be okay.
That goes back to what I talked about with the house shows. Yeah, you might lose money on the house show, but come on. Just run the show. Fuck it.
It's not like a TV where we had this argument last year where it doesn't matter if they draw nobody to the TV show. They're getting paid
$2 million
for the TV. So if one person shows up, it may not look good on TV, but they'll paper the shit out of it to make it look good.
Yeah.
So it don't matter.
I'll take a free ticket to a TV taping.
Daniel Dashwood signs with Impact.
Cool. That's it.
Jimmy Uso got arrested in Pensacola, Florida for DUI. What's with these Usos, man?
I don't know.
So they're twins, so they got to copy each other?
The Us needed a deuce, man. What can you say?
Deuce a Fort Loco.
Yes.
Not a sponsor of the wrestling show. Speaking of, what is a sponsor of the wrestling show? ShopGear.com.
ShopGear. Oh, they're awesome. They're our affiliate link for Amazon. Go on to ShopGear.com, get your merch, get your fun stuff. Same price as everything else. The only difference is you give back to the podcasting community. They're awesome. So do it.
Apparently, Undertaker signed a new WWE contract that will keep him with the company, quote, for life.
For life.
NWO style.
Yeah, well.
Apparently, his contract's just so long that he's a lifer. He
was a lifer already.
I was going to say, are you surprised by that?
I'm surprised he took outside bookings while he was not.
That didn't work out too well. As Conrad Thompson.
Oops. Oopsies. Sorry. Did they end up canceling that?
He didn't show up. He never
showed up?
No, they pulled his booking from it.
Oh, wow.
They told him he couldn't go. Same with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was booked for that StarCast also.
Because LOL, they're not. They have nothing to do with AEW, right?
They really don't.
They don't, but just the even appearance
just because they're
of it
on the same weekend of an AEW
doesn't mean anything.
I mean, he doesn't do a StarCast WrestleMania weekend only because there's WrestleCon. You think that Conrad Thompson wouldn't do a StarCast WrestleMania weekend? You're dead wrong. He totally would if there wasn't already a convention going on. Everyone else already booked.
I dare say that he may try it anyway. He might try it on like the Tuesday, Wednesday type thing.
Before WrestleMania?
Before WrestleMania.
Okay. I would say after. That's stupid.
It's gotten to the point where WrestleMania week is WrestleMania full week. You know?
Yeah, we know.
Oh, God.
MLW and Pro Wrestling Noah announced a partnership.
MLW?
MLW and Pro Wrestling Noah.
That'd be interesting. There's a lot of cool potential crossovers there.
There is.
I'm going to like
You know who's going to be commentating in an MLW show?
Who's that?
He's a heel.
Goddamn.
Goddamn heel, motherfucker. And Tony Schiavone will be doing a couple, too.
Oh, good for him.
Couple more. ROH and the NWA have announced that they're ending their relationship just out of the blue, out of nowhere.
Was it truly out of the blue, or was it just the end of a contract?
Because they booked Nick Aldis for their summer super show, Supercard, or whatever the hell it's called, in Toronto next week. And, he had like this whole storyline going about who was going to face him, one of the villain enterprises, and they totally just stopped the storyline. They just
dropped it?
And Nick Aldis hasn't even been on an ROH TV.
Wow.
So just out of nowhere, they dropped it.
I wonder what happened.
They said they split was amicable, so
yeah, that doesn't sound amicable.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
You're pulling their champion? Really? You couldn't wait till after the show?
I think if you watch those shows, they were not making the NWA look good at all.
I'm not saying they were, but you take a look at what happened with the G1 Supercard, and you see why.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of weird cross-promotion going on, but at the end of the day, everyone's still got to make money, and I don't think they were doing that. And I think part of the reason why is Ring of Honor is not the strong product it was even 2 years ago.
Like, you didn't watch Best in the World yet, did you?
No, I haven't yet.
That crowd was so scarce. It was insane.
It's unfortunate because they were the... Okay. They unfortunately were the end of really an era once they lost a lot of the current crop of NXT superstars. So
all right, we gotta.
So let's call this a night.
I got two more.
Okay, quick.
Okay, AEW says they're not going to cater to casual fans, which is stupid because they're on TNT.
Because exactly they're going to cater.
Exactly, and AEW is expected to run 110 shows per year, 51 TV, and you're going to like this. The only preemptions for Christmas week.
Fuck you.
The only preemptions for Christmas week. They're not running Christmas.
Oh, good for them. I'm sorry. I'm like
four pay-per-views.
Not for the Super Bowl?
Why? It's on TNT.
I know. I'm going
to fucking knock you out. It was the World Series.
It was the World Series. I'm sorry.
And the rest of the house shows, mostly on Saturdays, they're also looking at the idea to spread the talent around the house shows so that the talent only works about 75 shows a year. And
that's not bad.
No, that's not.
That's not bad at all.
But we'll see how it goes. You know, I've been skeptical of AEW for the last couple shows they did, but we'll see how they go.
Awesome. Well, that's pretty much it for today. As always, WrestlingShow.com. Check us out through the Gear Network. Check us out through Facebook, Facebook.com/Sleazy and the Fat Man. And as always, for Sleazy,
for the Fat Man,
this is the Wrestling Show. Thank you guys so much for listening. Peace.
Hope you step on a Lego.
I'm a truth that you seem to run from. I'm an army of one. I'm a clip in your gun. I'm the pain of the game. The blood shedding your name. When there's nothing to gain, I'm a well-gone sad.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.